to our monthly meeting, Chino Bonsai Club, and today's topic is black pie um, candle cutting. And our Sunshine David will give a talk about this topic. And for my opinion, I think David has the best, black pie collection. His trees are always healthy, and always looks nice. So here's David.
Black pies, we have to work twice a year. Summer work and winter work. Summer work, we start to work from June, July, the candle. And winter work, we call bud selection. Just like when you cut a candle, the strong branch give you 5, 4, 3, maybe 2. If the weak one might give you 2, or even sometimes 1 if the branch so weak. Okay, if let's say they give you 4, then you cut 2. Set 2. Okay, I'll talk the winter later. But the candle in summertime, June to July, the weak tree, you cut a candle first. The strong tree, you cut candle late. Because we need the time it grow. The weak tree, you cut it just like in June. Then you have July, August, September, October, let's say 4 months growth. But a strong tree, you cut late July, then you got 3 months growth. So the weak one, next year, is going to be stronger. And the strong tree, too strong, if you cut early, then you have 4 months growth. Next year, strong again, then the needle long. So that's why the strong trees we cut late, the weak trees we cut earlier. When we cut a candle, normally we divide it 3 different stages to balance the energy. Let's say the first one, you cut it, then 10 days later, go to the middle one. And the other 10 days, you go to the top. It stays about 10 days. Okay, to balance the energy. Also, the lower part, we set more needle than the middle one. The middle one more than the one on the top. The lower branch, we need more needle to bring the energy. And also the lower one, we need to cut the candle first. Then let them have more time to bring the energy to give you new shoot come out. If you cut everything same time, then the top too strong take over. Then later on the lower part, the lower branch getting weaker and weaker and weaker. Then end up you lose the lower branch. That's why you see a lot of black pie, they don't have a lower branch. Because they don't balance the energy. So, the lower part cut first, 10 days later go to the middle, 10 days later go to the top. The lower part have more needle than the middle one, and the middle one more than on the one on the top. That's the way we balance the energy. So try to remember that. But that is just like in general, okay? But when the finished tree, we do a little bit different because it depends on the health of the trees. Some trees so weak, then you don't have to cut a candle. But if you balance the energy just like at the trees like this, so you look at, you can see the top strong, right? The candle very strong. The middle one, the candle's medium, and the lower one, the candle shorter, right? You can see the tree, you can tell. Because this tree was on the ground, so I don't divide 3 different stages. No time and too many to do it. But the tree in the pot, you have to be careful about that. Try to balance the energy. That's so much work. Always balance the energy. If you don't, sooner or later you are going to lose the low frequency.
Can you get them back?
No way. No way. Black pie, when it's weak, it's hard. The whole tree weak, then you can recover it. But the top strong, lower part weak, it's hard to make them recover unless you have to cut the candle, you fertilize them very good, then try to control the one on the top. But normally black pie, you don't give them too much fertilizer. Just give them enough, that's all. The soil mix is more important than fertilizer.
How do you know when it's you said cut the weak ones first, right? And the strong ones later? How do
Yeah.
you know which ones are the weak ones? Or how would you tell which one's the weak one?
That's why I said, okay, if you don't have much experience, then you cut the lower part first. Just like you cut this area first. Today, 10 days later, you go to the medium part.
downstream. He have a weak branch, the one on the other
And
the brown part.
10 days later, go to the top.
Brown part.
You know what I mean? But when the finished tree in the pot,
Excuse me, David. We have a tree here that have a member asked with the weak. See this. Look at this one. So that would be a weak. And it's not.
yeah, in
Yeah.
this case, this trees they get the insect or
Yeah. He
something
burn. He got burned.
burn.
Yeah. So this is something like
Okay.
this. Yeah.
So we have to deal with the weaker one first. But if you have, when you have finished tree, you have more experience. You might select the weak one. You cut first. Then the strong one you cut later. But I don't want to mention about those things, then make you confused. The easier, cut the candle the lower part first. 10 days later, go to the medium part. Then 10 days later, you go to the top. That's the best way. And the lower part, save more needle than the medium one. Medium one, more needles on the top. That's why I used to say that A76. But you don't have to count a pair of needles every single branch. Take you forever to finish a tree. But you got a general idea. But what I'm talking today is just a general idea. Finished tree, then we have to deal with a little bit difference. But I don't want to mention about those things that make you confused. You don't know what to do. That requires experience. That's summer work. So then winter work, we start from late October or November. During that time, the tree is just like almost go to sleep. Then we can do bud selection. Let's say summertime you cut candle. You cut the candle right here. Okay. Then let's say the strong branch, they give you 4 new shoots come out after you cut a candle. At winter time, they all has some kind of needles. Then winter time, but you can put stop November. Okay. We start to do the bud selection. Okay. You cut it right here. You set needles, some needles over here. It's just like I said, 876. You got it right. That's the needle you set it. But where you cut the needle, the candle, the summertime, it's just like right now. You can see it. To cut the candle is right here, right at the base of the new shoot. Everybody can see it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, right at the base of the new shoot. Later on, I'll practice it for you to see it. We cut it right here. After we cut it right here, then the strong branch give you 5, 4, 3, whatever. The weak one maybe give you 2, 3. Let's say winter work, this summer work to cut it. I have to. Okay. Then winter work start from November. You do bud selection. That's, let's say the wicked one, we cut it off because it's the weak one no good for your tree. The strongest one, you cut it off. You save a pair, medium one. The weak one is no good for your tree. The strong one, if you keep it later on, you have a long interknot. That's why we have to eliminate it. Say a pair, medium one. Also, at the same time, we clean up the old needle from last year. Like that. That's a winter work. If the branch, the new shoot come out very weak, you might have to save some old needle to help to bring the energy, make the branch stronger. But in that case, your tree is not good to put on the soil because you have 2 sides of needle. Let's say the old one and the new one. The new one is needle shorter. The old one is needles longer. In that case, you put your tree in the soil, and your trees have 2 sides of needle. It's no good. No good. That's not a good idea to put a tree on the soil like that. It means your tree is not healthy. I remember one time I put my black pie soil at the Daiichi. Then many of them said, how come your tree is only one, your black pie one? All the needles same size, very good. Because we know how to deal with. So, winter time, we do the bud selection and clean up the old needle. But one thing about the black pie, sometimes you buy a landscape tree, let's say 10 feet tall. Okay, you chop it up to use the lower branch to create the bonsai. When you chop it down like that, you have to remember to chop it down during the cold season, winter time. Not the growing season. The growing season, the sap push too much, too strong. Then you chop it up, 80%, 90% of the leaves. Then you might have a chance 30% survive, 50% survive, 50% tree die. The sap pushing too much. Then the trees grow so strong. After that, cannot handle it, die. So you have to cut it down during cold season. And black pie, don't feed them too much. If you feed them too much, the needles long, also the interknot long. And always open the trees, clean up, open the trees for the lower branch. The sun can go through the lower branch, get it healthier. If too busy, too crowded on the top, then the sun cannot go through. Then end up you don't have the inside branches. But you see my black pine, we have a lot of inside branches. You see down here, you see the candles, very weak, okay, compared to up here and on the top. You can see it, right? Then where can we cut it? You see, black pine grows twice a year. Just like a summer grow, actually it's spring grow and fall grows. This one, spring grow. Fall grows from here to here. That's fall. Then now it's spring grows from here to here. Where we cut the candle is cut at the base of the spring grow. That's the candle you need to cut it. And cut all the way to the base. I saw some of them, I don't want to name it. They cut it just right at the base over here, they cut over here. Then later on you see the stumps over here. Look bad. I like to cut all the way to the base. Okay. But let's say, when you see your candles grow too strong like this, you cut it over here, yes or no?
Yes.
No.
No.
No, you cut over here, then you sit here, don't give you any new shoot. It just sits right there, they don't give you any new shoot. Because from here, maybe this one, you can see it, from here to here, too young. You cut it over here, No, cannot give you any new shoot come out. Too young. You have to cut all the way to the base. This is too young. Just like, okay, a little girl, 10 years old, you want them to have baby? No way. It has to be certain age, old enough. Then here's where we can cut this. Okay, I'll turn this down for you to see. So like this one. Here's the fall grow from last year. This one is spring grow. We cut all the way to the base. And this one very good. Good question.
And those two shoots beside it, those is okay to cut or no?
Yeah, that's I want to talk about this. Okay. I want to talk about this. A lot of question, can we cut this over here to save some new two old shoots over here? No. This one consider spring growth. You have to cut at the base. If you save this one and this one, they don't have any new to shoot, right?
Yes.
Then later on, this one's strong. Go out first. Then after you cut it over here, this one go out later, right? Then your tree has two sides of needles. A lot of question about this. Can we cut this over here and save this too? No, cut all the way at the base.
That's just at the top. Even at the
All
bottom.
of them.
Okay.
So it's all the new growth, right?
Yeah, we want they all new grow.
Yeah.
Because this one only take up like this, maybe 2 months grows already. Then you cut it over here, then they just start to grow. Then later on, your pie has two sides of needle. The needles are very long. And the new one come out, the needles this short. You see, your pie have two sides of needle. And also the one on the top like this, we stab it. Then it's so strong, take over all the energy, the lower branch cannot pop out the new shoot. Okay.
Can you cut one more time? Pick another branch. Can you cut? I want to recall like the close up, so that people can see.
Okay. Just
Sometimes it's hard to see far.
okay, we have some new shoot come out. Okay. I'll cut it. So you see, they have two small ones on the sides. We have to cut at the base. If we set this two, then later on, if let's say this one is on the top, then this one take all the energy. Then the lower branch, when you cut it, it's weak. And also your pie, later on, you have two sides of needles. That's another good idea. We have to cut them all, then you have one side of needles later. All right? Okay. So, now I start to cut it just like along here. This one have one, the other small one too. So we have to cut it. All right. So you know where to cut it, right? Right at the base of the spring growth.
it's not always just the green part. It's a little bit on the darker brown.
No, it's all the
Now you can see the gap. Okay,
240.
you can see the gap. It's just like okay. Okay, summertime you cut the candles over here, right? Then they have two new shoots come out. They start to grow from July. Let's say you cut it June. Then this new shoot start from July to let's say November. Then winter time, right? The winter time, the tree dormant go to sleep. It depends on each area. So like East Coast winter time longer, then they sleep longer. West Coast over here we have short winter, then they sleep a little bit shorter. Then they sleep until let's say February. The weather start warm up. I'm talking about our climate over here. Then here's a sleeping time. So you see the gap?
Yep.
They have a gap, right? You check all of them, you can see it over here. Here's the winter sleep, winter gap. Okay. Then it's grow a little bit, then here's a spring grow. So we cut right at the base. So all the black pine, you can see it. You cut the candle now. Now we cut a candle. Then it's growth from July to November. Then it's slip a little bit. Then you can see the gap over here. No needle. Then here's the spring growth. Now we cut it right here, right at the spring growth. You got it? But you cannot cut this over here. You cut it over here, it means from here to be here is too young. You cut in the middle, then it just sit there. Cannot give you new shoot, even it's long. Cannot give you new shoot. You have to cut all the way to the base. If you want the branch grow a little bit longer, then you might skip cutting the candle this year. But don't cut in the middle. No good. If you want the branch to go longer, then you skip to cut the candle this year. And if you cut it in the middle over here, then just sit there, then later on it's going to be died.
So on this one, you would cut right here?
No, right at the base over here.
Right at the base.
Right.
Cut the growth,
Yeah.
the true growth. Got it.
But including the sleeping period,
Mm-hmm.
you have to cut below the sleeping area, right? It is correct?
Yeah, we have to cut this right at the base over
Yeah,
here.
okay.
I'm sorry.
You know,
this
yeah,
one.
yes, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Right at the base over here.
All right, good.
I'm sorry, I marked it wrong.
Okay.
Okay, that's good.
Good,
Thank you.
good.
Yeah, because if you cut it over here, then later on you have the stump
Right.
there.
Correct, correct.
Look bad. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, good.
So, for example, this branch,
Yeah.
where
Okay.
you cut it.
Below the ground.
We had to cut this right here.
Okay.
Okay.
Including
Now, I cut all the needles over here for you to see it. And the black pie,
it's very busted.
the black pie, if no needle, then the branch die. Okay, let's say in the bus you forgot to cut it, then now it's long leggy, right? Then now you can cut it back like a juniper. Cut it back like this. Then this one is shorter, right? Then you start to cut a candle, then that's the only way. But you have to remember, you cannot push it back all of them at one time. If you cut it back, you see, this one, you cut it back, this one, just like you take 2/3 of the branch.
Yeah.
Right? Then you take too much at the same time, then your trees might be dying. Even the winter time doesn't matter what time of the year. So be careful on that. So you have to do one by one, or maybe a couple of branches at a time. That's all you can do.
Sensei, question.
Yes.
So actually, you said we have to do this process every year, right? Otherwise, you cannot make a nice pine tree, right? Bonsai tree, right? So, but most of this pine tree are from the grower, right? Not the natural nature, right? So that means the grower every year, since they are baby tree, they wanna process that process every year for thousands of the trees.
They have to cut candle every year.
Since they are baby.
Yeah.
I see. Otherwise,
Okay,
like
if
this,
you
right?
have a friend you hate them, ask them to grow black pine, make good money. Few years later, you can see what's happened to him. Okay?
Okay, I see.
So, you see, now I cut the candle and the lower part, I don't clean too much needle. So you can get an idea what to do with the black pie every year. And you have to do it every year. Unless that tree in the bonsai pot that year is very weak, you must skip 1 year. The needle too short, and you must skip it 1 year. Otherwise, you have to cut candle every year.
If we don't do the candling in the summer, can we do, because it's weak, can we do it on the winter? The
No.
No.
Because winter is a dormant season. You cut a candle, you sit there. Then
Then
your
we wait for the next.
your tree is confused.
We wait for the next,
Yeah.
for the spring.
If you cut in the winter, then summertime you have to skip it. You cannot cut a candle. Right?
Shinchen, can you comment on, like, some people recommend that if you want the needle to be shorter, you cut a little bit later in the season. Is that true?
Yeah, just like I said, the wick tree, you cut a candle in June. Strong tree, you can cut a candle in July.
So the later you cut the shorter, because they don't have too much time to
Yeah,
grow,
the
so it's shorter
growing
than
time.
So if you have shohin, you should cut those later too, so that they stay short.
The sohin you can cut late July or early of August. Because sohin, if you cut the candles June, then the needle long. Too long, the tree is not balanced. Sohin, you want the needle have to be short.
And then if you cut it too late, then there's no growth at all.
If you cut it too late, no growth. they grow, but they don't have a needle. Then next year, you cannot cut a candle.
So not too early and not too late.
Yeah.
Just right.
Yeah. So, but if you know how to deal with the black pie later on, you love to work with the black pie.
Should we get
Okay.
the members?
Any question about this? If not, then I'll start to
Right?
critique about the member trees.